Evening, guys. 9:30 Thursday night. Just a quick look at Bitcoin. I didn't do an update yesterday. Things were pretty much the same. I think what we were looking at is Bitcoin trading sideways until we got that economic data, which certainly kicked in today, and we certainly saw that volatility. So the other day we were talking about this inverse head and shoulders pattern, and then we set the target, which I'll show you at the moment. But this was on the 1 hour time frame. Okay. So since then, we kind of evolved that inverse head and shoulders to the 4 hour time frame. This is what we've been discussing in group today. And the volatility certainly kicked in. So today we had the jobless claims data, and we had the GDP index data as well. And basically, in short, the Fed at the moment need to see a weakening economy, and the Fed are actually seeing a stronger economy or strengthening economy. And you can see, so I mark the date, I mark the times when we get some sort of economic data, and you can see the effect. If I just zoom in there, the effect that news had on the market, and we were expecting volatility. The trouble is we didn't know which way it was going to go. We didn't know whether it's going to go up or whether it was going to go down. And obviously, when the data was printed, the markets reacted in the way that it would, because the Fed potentially now need to be a bit more hawkish with regards to the basis point hikes, the rate hikes come January. So there's a possibility that we where we were looking at the Fed becoming more dovish and easing off a bit, potentially because of the news that's come out, then we might see them become more hawkish, and the market reacts to that. Okay, so Bitcoin following the SPX, you can see the SPX dropping. Okay, you can see the ES1 dropping. You can see the Nasdaq dropping as well. Bit of recovery going on right now, but you can see on the Nasdaq just bearish retest of this previous trend line, which is now resistance. Okay, so Bitcoin on this particular move, this was quite interesting actually. We were tracking this today with the guys in the group, and it was a case of if I just switch this head and shoulders off, 1 second, like so. We were basically saying Bitcoin needs to put in a higher low. Okay, so we've got our left shoulder, we've got our head, we've got our right shoulder. Perfect scenario is that the right shoulder is a higher low, if you like, than the left shoulder. Okay, I'm using Bitcoin USD, and on Bitcoin USD, you can see that the right shoulder has put in a lower low. I mean, absolutely fine margins here, but you can see a lower low on USD. Okay, so it's okay, need to be a little bit careful here. And then obviously we've seen this move up. But if you look at the same chart on Binance, okay, biggest exchange globally, you can see a completely different story. So it certainly is important to run if you're trading on Bitcoin, and you're looking at Bitcoin USD, okay, US dollar, it certainly pays to have a look at a USDT exchange like Binance, or one of the biggest Binance, because then this paints a completely different story. Okay, so we've seen that higher low, which we were expecting, okay, higher low, and then we've seen this explosive move upwards at the moment. So, and I obviously put this in the chart. Bitcoin on Binance didn't print a lower low. Note to self, check USD and exchanges. I am still undecided on this move right now. So let's go back over to USD and just have a look at this move. So essentially, we're in a very similar position to where we were when we were looking at it the other day. Okay, we still need to break 16,910. The move, the structure is there, the move is there, and we're forming this right shoulder as we speak. You could potentially put a mirror down the middle and say, one half, two halves. And if it is, a mirrored pattern, we should see this formation on this side. Measured move 17,299. Okay. So for now, what we're looking at is we're looking to see if Bitcoin can break 69.10 and hold 69.10. So area value was down here. Okay, you got that move. Great. Now we're in overhead resistance, very strong resistance. So now area of value has been missed. We're waiting to see if area of value, if we can hold this level, turn it into support, and then possibility that we'll move up to the targeted move, or continue to get rejected again, potentially see that move down. Okay, so this is what we're looking at the moment with regards to Bitcoin and whether this plays out. Now, tomorrow we've got some more news coming out, which is the PCE price index. Okay, so we've got more news coming out tomorrow, which again may affect the markets. So we just need to be aware of what might happen to the Bitcoin price, similarly to what's happened today. If the data comes in and it's not what we're looking for, then potentially we will see another move down, another shift in the marketplace. Okay, so volatility certainly kicking in today, and the news certainly affecting the markets and the way people trade. And Bitcoin, I believe, at the moment following the SPX. Okay, so we're just keeping an eye on the SPX. That market will be closing shortly. The ES1 and the Nasdaq. Okay, Nasdaq quite interesting. Tech stocks got hit hard. Okay, but we're just seeing that bearish retest now of that trend line. So if the Nasdaq starts to trend lower, and you can see the ES1 at the moment, okay, the mini futures potentially starting to trend lower, just testing fib support there, and the SPX. Okay, the SPX still moving up at the moment. Okay, but if we see the SPX start to move lower, then potentially this 69.10 area becomes a much harder problem for Bitcoin to get above. Okay, so it's been a really interesting day and really good sort of talking the guys through it. Posted a number of videos and just really showing them what to be aware of with regards to this move, and particularly this particular pattern structure as well, and just trying to identify if it's still in play or if it's not in play, if it's null and void. And good job we sort of checked the other exchange just to see how that particular pattern was set up on another exchange. Okay, so now it's a case of waiting to see if we can break 69.10 again. Okay, so it's kind of where we're at right now, and if we fail to break 69.10, then the possibility is that we'll just see some more downside. The good thing is we've got some volume coming in here. Okay, it's looking like a really good move, but we are reliant on what happens with regards to the stock markets and if they keep pushing up or not. So during this particular trade today, we brought in, let me bring in CM12. Okay, so this was us basically analyzing this particular pattern and structure just to see what was going on. So we broke down the right shoulder and we were basically monitoring the right shoulder. We could see that it was in this falling wedge. Okay, and then as soon as the data come in, we saw this breakdown. Okay, and then it was a case of, right, we need to find out whether we're going to get a bearish retest of the lower trend line, which will be here, or whether we're going to break back into the pattern and continue higher. At the moment, you can see finding resistance at that upper trend line. So we need to be breaking this upper trend line. We've done the first bit, we've broken back into the pattern. Okay, we need to be breaking this upper trend line, retesting this upper trend line, and then continuing higher. And that will be essentially a bit of a signal, if we can break out, retest, and start to move higher, a signal that we may well be able to challenge 69.10, or Bitcoin will be able to challenge 69.10. So you can see the arrows here, we were basically drawing in. We're either going to see a break back into the pattern, or we're going to see a bearish retest and a move lower. Okay, so it's been a really good day. Sorry, this chart is really messy. I'm just going to switch this one off for now. Okay, it's been a really good day from a trading point of view and a learning point of view. But essentially, there's not too much to talk about. We're still in the same position that we've been in. You know, we've been ranging here. We're almost back into this range, and we still need to break 69.10 in order to continue higher. And we just got to wait to see if that's going to be the case. When we look at the indicators, okay, so the 1 hour indicator, you got the stock RSI, you know, it's had a bullish move. You got the MACD, that's just crossed over, okay? You can just see on the histogram that little dash of blue there. Okay, so we just had a cross on the MACD, and the RSI is above 50. So pretty bullish as far as the 1 hour is concerned. The 4 hour, okay, so the 4 hour, the stock RSI is looking healthy. Oversold, just had that cross there. And then you got the MACD, okay, crossed over, looking bullish. And then you got the RSI just above 50. Okay, again, a bullish signal, looking okay. And then you've got the daily. Okay, you've got bullish on the stock RSI. Let's have a look at the MACD a bit closer. So no crossover on the MACD on the daily. So the concern is that you might roll over here. We need the 4 hour and the 1 hour to start moving upwards in tandem and continue to move upwards for there to be this MACD cross. Okay, so possibly a bearish signal on the MACD and then the RSI below 50, 47. So, you know, the RSI, if the RSI was above 50, then you could possibly say again, looking bullish. So all in all, it's a pretty strong move, but we're still not able to break this resistance. And if we bring in CM12 again, you can just see, let me just get rid of some of this info. You can just see the first job that Bitcoin needs to do is just break this upper trend line, okay? What we don't want to see is a rejection here, which we're kind of seeing now, and then a break down from the pattern, because the possibility will be we will bearish retest that lower trend line and then continue lower, okay? So I'm going to leave it there. Let's see what happens over the next few hours. See how the candle closes at midnight. And let's see what tomorrow brings with the news, the PCE price index news. And let's see how that's going to affect the market. But one eye on the NASDAQ. Okay, we've got that bearish retest of that trend line there. And then ES1 moving down, SPX still moving up at the moment. 1 hour time frame, 1 hour time frame, 1 hour time frame. Okay, so let's just keep an eye on those. The DXY starting to move upwards. So look at the DXY on the 1 hour. Okay, starting to move upwards. So usually if the DXY moves up, Bitcoin moves in the opposite direction. Total 2, I mentioned this in group. Just watch this support line here, okay? Total 2 loses this support line, this level, and retests it, bearish retests it, and moves lower. We've got some major fib support here, 786, but that moves lower, then you could see altcoins lose quite a bit of their value. Okay, so you must, I've got an alert on this line. Okay, got an alert on this line. Just keep an eye on that. So if we go to the 14-day, you can see it's quite an important level. Okay, we're literally here. We've held it as support once, testing it again. But if we do drop lower, then potentially we'll see some downside from total 2 and from alts. And then Bitcoin dominance really isn't playing ball at the moment for altcoins. it's been very persistent in continuing its move higher. So just waiting to see now. What we're looking for is Bitcoin dominance to move to this lower trend line. When Bitcoin dominance moves to this lower trend line, strong possibility that we'll see some really good movement from altcoins. But at the moment, and you know that altcoins really haven't moved particularly well. Okay, essentially forming this bull flag, and we may well see another leg up potentially before we see a move down. So if Bitcoin dominance gets to this upper trend line and gets rejected, then that's certainly a signal, I would say, not trading advice, but to really look at altcoin positions and potentially open in some altcoin positions, because you're just looking for this sort of movement back down. And if Bitcoin dominance moves like this, altcoins will generally move in the opposite direction. Okay, so but Bitcoin dominance at the moment continuing higher, holding its position, and really we're not seeing those those explosive moves from the altcoins. Okay. So I'm going to leave it there. Shout if you've got any questions, and let's again we're just in this range. Let's see if we can eventually break 69.10 and turn that into support. Possible area of value if we do, and then possible position if we get rejected. Possible short position on the 3S tokens should we get rejected there. Okay, so we're just looking for area values, places to trade, and not getting caught up in the emotion of what's gone on today. And this is one thing I've tried to stress in the group. There will be another trade. If you miss this trade, and let's just say you could have bought in here, and the price action does get up here. Yeah, you've missed that trade, but you just move on to the next trade. Okay, you don't jump in just because you think it's going higher. Your strategy should already be in place, and if it's going against what you think is going to happen, it's going against your strategy. You don't change your strategy. You stick to what you've got in mind, and then wait for the next move. So the next move would be, okay, Bitcoin does get up to here. What's my move from here? What am I planning now? And you can plan that now. You can plan two moves. So you can plan Bitcoin breaks higher, reaches the targeted area. Okay, bearing in mind we've got resistance, and if we bring in the high low daily, okay, what we've said is, let me draw in this trend line. What we've basically said is there's a strong probability that Bitcoin will put in a lower high. Okay, so we've had higher low, lower low. Okay, higher low, higher high, great. Lower low, not good. Lower high, not good. Confirmed downtrend. Okay, so your strategy almost, if we do hit this level and we don't put in that higher high, we don't break out of this trend line and continue higher, your strategy is to look for a movement down, okay, and then trade accordingly, depending on what your overall strategy is. So it's been a really good day, lots going on, and yeah, just give me a shout if you've got any questions, and let's see what happens over the next few hours and the next 24 hours. And just bear in mind, we've got more data coming in tomorrow. Could see some more volatility, and then don't forget, Christmas markets are closed. So Bitcoin potentially, without obviously Bitcoin continues to trade 24/7, 365 days a year. The Nasdaq, ES1, SPX have a breather. So we might see Bitcoin just do its own thing whilst the markets are closed. So that will be quite an interesting period as well. Okay. So I'll leave it there, and I will catch up with you probably tomorrow. And yeah, just stick to your strategy and make sure you're planning ahead of time. Okay, guys, cheers. Bye.